Time to get to work. I'm not really into the whole meditation thing, but I thought it would be a fun intro to do. Today we are going to be installing some Apivar strips into our colonies. It's a fairly nice day out here today. It was sunny up until about 10 minutes ago when I decided to come out and do some work. So we've got nitrile gloves on. Unfortunately, black was the only color they had, but just to keep those treatments, chemical or whatever you want to call it, from getting into contact with my skin. You'll want to use nitrile gloves when handling the Apivar, not latex, just because the nitrile does a little bit better with chemicals. So each 5-frame colony will get one strip of Apivar, which has amitraz in it, is the active ingredient, which kills the mites for our colonies. Right now, mite treatments are the only thing that we treat for in our colony. We moved away from antibiotics 5 or 6 years ago, shortly after we started. We just pay really close attention to what's going on in the hives and check them. And if anything were to come up that did need the antibiotic, obviously we would do what's in the best interests of our bees, but we don't want to treat prophylactic. Now these Apivar strips, they do have a tab. What happens is if you use that tab and you put it in there and you hang it on the frame like that, and then you put the lid on, the lid will cause this strip to go right up against one of the frames. And so rather than hanging down through the frames and that active ingredient hitting the bees on both sides of the strip, now you're only getting one side. So what we've done is we use little short nails. These are just little 1-inch nails, which fit in that hole up top really nicely. You can use toothpicks as well. We've used toothpicks in the past, but sometimes those toothpicks, they do break and that strip will fall into the hive. And we've had instances where unfortunately that Apivar strip didn't come out of the hive. That's something that can cause mite resistance to the treatments. If the treatment efficacy goes down and it's still in contact with the mites, sometimes the mites will develop resistance to different treatments. So we want to do everything we can to keep that from happening. So what we do is we use these nails. They hang straight down directly into the colony really nicely, and I find that it's just a really nice thing to do. And once you're done with them, you can take those nails out and either recycle them or just use them again next year. So what I'll do is just make up a bunch of them with the nail in them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, because I have two queens in here, I don't take those excluders out, but I'm just going to poke a small hole down the center, enough to fit one of these. And then we'll slide a strip down in there. And we'll do the same thing on this side. And that's it. Our treatment's done. So that'll stay in there for 55 to 60 days. And then when we come back and we give them more room, we'll pull those strips out. Only 100 more to go. So you can see how much nicer that is sitting in there. So that that strip is just hanging right down, straight down the middle. So the bees can rub up against it on both sides. And that's how this treatment works. It's a slow release treatment, and the bees will brush up against there, and it'll kill off any mites over a 42 to 60 day period. So Kayla and I made it through all the hives today, all what was 100 of them. Looks like 3 of them didn't make it through that cold snap, and those were 3 hives that were really small. I'm talking 1 frame colony, so 3 of those that you would have seen in my prior video, they didn't make it, and that's fine, I guess. It'd be nicer if we didn't get that cold weather, but that's the way it works. And so we went through, we gave them all an Apivar strip, and we gave them all another half patty just to get them through the week. I will check them again. I'll check them again next week, and we'll see what they're looking like. If the weather is warming up and they're really taking down the patties, then we will ramp up and we'll give them each 2 full patties, and then they'll be off to the races.